The right side of Jalen Hurts' head hits the turf. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephen Wilson, and here on this channel we analyze video to further break down and understand the mechanisms of sports injuries. So if that's the type of content that interests you, then please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Sunday afternoon between Washington and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is the ball carrier, of course the quarterback for the Eagles, but as the ball carrier, he's going to come in head first, and there's going to be contact here from the Washington defender onto the left side of his helmet, and then pushing his head down forcefully into the turf. That's the full replay. It is short here today. We'll back it up a little bit, and again, we're going to see that impact coming from Hurts's left side as he's falling forward head first. The defender makes contact, pushing his head into the turf. Jalen Hurts was later ruled out with a concussion as the right side of his head strikes the ground, the turf, quite forcefully there. So forcefully, we can actually see a bit of a rebound effect from Hurts' helmet as it hits the turf. With such a large amount of energy, we see the rebound effect right there. So if we can picture Jalen Hurts' his skull, his head, his brain inside of his helmet striking the turf that hard, you know, his helmet, his neck, his skull are stopping very, very quickly. The deceleration here is quite rapid, but his brain inside of his skull is still accelerating down towards the ground. And at that moment of deceleration, that's when his brain is actually going to bump up a little bit inside of his skull bones. That impact of the soft tissue of his brain making contact with the hard inside part of the skull bone, that's where the concussion occurs. That's going to send off a cascade of events, the depolarization of the electrical circuits in Hurts's inside of his brain, and initiating the early effects of a concussion. He was taken into the locker room for a full concussion evaluation. They would certainly be using the sport concussion assessment tool. They do need some quiet without the visual distractions of the stadium. This is going beyond your typical Maddox questions of who are we playing today? What is your name? What is the score? What quarter are we in? They're going for a full concussion assessment. So when we look at the skeletal model here, if we can pretend this is Jalen Hurts, the ball carrier, he's falling forward in the game here against Washington. We'll zoom in on Hurts's skull and brain here. Remember, the impact came in from the left side of his head from the Washington defender, and then forcing the right side of his head and his helmet down into the turf, accelerating towards the turf, and then his helmet, his skull hit the turf. That sudden deceleration, that creates a lot of pressure and there's still a lot of energy in that movement where his brain is going to bump up on the inside of his skull bones, initiating the early stages of the concussion that later ruled out Jalen Hurts out of this game. That's all for the video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. Have a great day.